How we doing, guys? Welcome back to That Effing Guy. Today we're going to discuss a little bit of Terminator news. Now, we all know, obviously, that last year we got the grand return of not only Arnold Schwarzenegger for like the sixth time. If you count Salvation as a motion capture version, it kind of counts. So sixth time. But the grand return, like the major return of Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor. We had James Cameron return as producer. Basically, the Tim Miller, who was the director of Deadpool, wanted to create a sort of, along with James Cameron, wanted to create a sort of Halloween 2018 atmosphere with this film. Now, obviously, rather than going back to the very first one, they go back to like the continuation of Terminator 2. Obviously, Halloween 2018 went back to like the very first film and continues from there. So we got Terminator Dark Fate, which I'll do a review. I want to do a review. I'm going to do some nostalgic reviews. I've got the Robocop films all planned up. I'm not so much going to go into the detail of the Terminator franchise. Like, I'll not do like detailed reviews of that. I'll just maybe like talk about Dark Fate and then just talk about other like Terminator films, like aspects I like, pros and cons, etc. But Terminator Dark Fate came out and it was relatively praised by fans and critics. Both said it was a best of the sequels like past Terminator 2. And I can't judge that at all. But some did find it good, but like kind of pointless at the same time. And I understand that. But like I said, I'll go into that a little deeper. So after the bombing at the box office, I think we're kind of done now with the Terminator franchise. In the same vein as Jurassic World, like the last one, Fallen Kingdom, I watched it and I was kind of like, yeah, let's just Jurassic Extinction now. Don't get me wrong, I'll go see the new one because obviously, you know, Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern are all back. I mean, the original's the OG 1993 team, so obviously I'm going to go see it, but after that, I think that's at the end, even though Frank Marshall has said, it's not the end, only the beginning, and you think, fuck. With the Jurassic World universe, there's only one way you can go. Dinosaurs, a park, tourists, and it all goes to shit. So there's several news outlets, famously Daniel Richmond of Twitter and Patreon, and I think he's part of the We Got This Covered team, who obviously we all know don't know shit, but then something to do, have some decent quality bit of news. So this is the latest rumour that's going about. So there's three rumours going about for a upcoming future Terminator sequel, whether it's Terminator 7 or just like a whole new film, whatever. There's three ideas, right? So the first idea is an idea that is telling us that James Cameron, whether he's writing it, producing it, or directing it himself after he's finished with Avatar 9, 10, 11. I'm only joking, he's older than 5. That's just as bad. Daniel Richmond is claiming that James Cameron wants to restore the franchise, revive it, revitalise it, whatever, like he tried to do with Dark Fate, but hey ho, never worked well, did it? And the quote from Daniel Richmond is, despite the last one bombing, James Cameron still wants a new Terminator film, and this one is set during the war in the future, like #4, says the tipster. And this is something we got discovered from Daniel Richmond, his source, his Patreon, his source, etc. I want to subscribe to his Patreon just to see what movie shite he's like spouting, what rumours he's spouting, because some of his rumours do match up, and then there's just some that you're just like, yeah, okay. So this is one of those like kind of like I can see it happening. So I understand where James Cameron is going, right? Because obviously he's going to do a future sequel set in a war, and it's in a line to Terminator 4 Salvation, which I really enjoyed that film. I mean, I really did. I thought it was a very good Terminator film. It's a very good all-round sci-fi war movie, War of the Machines, because that's what happened though. See, when you look at it, fair enough, Judgment Day ended and it was like, that's it, the end. Terminator 1, Terminator 2, and it was perfect. They obviously went with Terminator 3, the next, like what happens later, and then it ended with Judgment Day happened, and we assume that War of the Machines. And that was a rumoured title for several years, in between Terminator Rise of the Machines in 2003 and Salvation in 2009, directed by McG, who is one of those directors who you can get behind him in certain things, and in certain things you're just like, oh, McG. And that obviously starred Christian Bale, who is right smack bang in the middle of his Batman franchise, as John Connor, who, he was a decent John Connor, better than Nick Stahl by a fucking mile, and Sam Worthington, fresh off of Avatar. So Sam Worthington was fantastic as Marcus, the human cyborg hybrid. He was a kind of hybrid, kind of like Mackenzie Davis's character in the new Dark Fate film. Spoilers. He was pretty, he was really good. He was really, really good. The only downside is, what are Paramount famous for doing? Especially with the Terminator franchise, they show everything in the fucking trailers. So we saw that Sam Worthington was a Terminator, we saw that Jason Clarke's John Connor was a bad guy, and we saw that Mackenzie Davis was an advanced super human being, whatever the hell she was. But I'm intrigued because James Cameron could actually pull it off. That is the more believable one. I can see that happening because Salvation more now is respected a lot more by film fans, to a point that you look at it and think, that's exactly what I want in like a War of the Machines type of Terminator film. Idea number 2. 3 ideas. You'll see what idea I'm pretty much on board with. That one. And then the next 2 are the ones where I'm just like, I'll be fair, one of the ideas is better than the other idea. And then the other idea, I'm just like, it's one of the ideas both ideas, one can be just shown as how fucking desperate Paramount are on bringing back some Terminator life to the big screen, right? And the other idea is just how fucking desperate the producers and the writing team, the Terminator team are, just to like rekindle something that they got with Terminator 2. Because obviously Terminator Dark Fate was like trying to rekindle that life that Terminator 2 had. My next idea, well, not my next idea, but the next idea that's going about is the idea that's basically being used to rekindle what Terminator 2 has, but we'll try something completely different, see if this works. So, Robert Patrick, who we loved as a T-1000 in Terminator 2, tremendous. So the idea is Robert Patrick is supposedly, reportedly, maybe being eyed to return as an alternate version of his T-1000 in a Terminator project, a future Terminator project. Now, there was this, by the looks of it, James Cameron has nothing to do with this idea. It's just an idea that's been flung about. And like I said, basically in a nutshell, Robert Patrick, who is well into his 60s. Now, the age thing's nothing because Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, you know. I'm really not on board with this one because I just it worked back in 1991. Then again, so did Terminator, so did Arnold Schwarzenegger, and bringing him back and aging him and de-aging him and all that shit, and yeah. And then we go into idea number 3. So you've probably already realised what idea I'm pretty much 100% not on board with. The insiders at Paramount are stating that despite the piss poor performance with Dark Fate, that Paramount Pictures are looking into either making a Terminator movie or a TV show that will be pretty much a total reboot of the franchise. Like I said, this has got nothing to do with James Cameron, sorry. It does have something to do with John. And the idea is to bring John Cena and Margot Robbie into the leads. So yeah, I'm alright. I kind of like that idea. I like John Cena. I've always said he could be a good Terminator. I think there was rumours years ago he was going to be a Terminator, but never happened, I guess. Margot Robbie, I like her, but I feel as though Margot Robbie is kind of like Tom Holland and kind of like The Rock and now kind of like John Cena, or John Cena's kind of like them. And it's like, what else can we just throw them into? Like The Rock at one point was going to be a Terminator. He was going to be a Terminator set in the 1950s and it was Sarah Connor's mum and dad. I would have actually watched that. I actually like that idea. I would have watched that. So yeah, the idea is John Cena, and this is where it gets funny as hell, by the way, and Margot Robbie are going to be in a new Terminator film or TV show by Paramount, despite obviously the terrible box office of Dark Fate last year. But here's the thing though, this is where I really love it. I love it, right? It says, where does it say? It says something about, doesn't go into which roles Paramount Pictures is thinking of casting Cena in the franchise, but it does say, obviously it doesn't mean. Straight away I'm thinking John Cena is hardly going to be like the damsel in distress. Now it'd be quite funny if John Cena was like the damsel in distress and Margot Robbie was like the badass Terminator. Right, see, reading that, in between the lines I'm thinking, bullshit, use your brain. John Cena being a fucking tank is probably going to be a Terminator. Now, don't bite my head off, but I'm kind of looking at, now I get John Cena as a tank, so maybe need to just kind of muscle down a bit. But I could see John Cena playing a war-stricken, beat to a pulp, to a point where he's at a breaking point, John Connor. Now, hear me. So I can see him being a John Connor, or I see him being like a whole new T-800 Terminator. And maybe join forces with Margot Robbie's rebellious leader and they take on Terminators. Margot Robbie, straight away I was reading this thinking Terminator and Sarah Connor. And I'm thinking Margot Robbie probably could play a good Sarah Connor. Because Emilia Clarke, as much as Genesis was a something anyway, I kind of liked Margot Robbie. I kind of liked Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor. She kind of looked a bit like Linda Hamilton back in 1984. So I'm like, alright. But when you look at it and you put all three ideas together, that could be a very good future War of the Machines with Robert Patrick and Margot Robbie and, you know, John Cena. And during all this, I actually came across some scrapped, leaked plot details for what was going to be Terminator Dark Fate 2 and 3. And I really want to talk about them because they sound actually pretty decent. But, you know, what do you guys think? Comment down below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for your continued support. I tried not to swear as much in this one, sorry. But there's just some things were just like, oh, bullshit. So, yeah. I've been that effing guy, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be most likely this one, if I can be fucked.